I have Dollop tour dates to announce for the year 2024 of our Lord J-Town. We have our 10th anniversary show coming up in Los Angeles on April 27th. Guests are Karen Kilgariff and James Adomian. And then we are going to Australia, starting on May 13th in Perth, May 16th in Sydney, May 18th in Brisbane, May 20th in Canberra, May 22nd in Melbourne, and May 24th in Adelaide. You can get your tickets at dolloppodcast.com.
Experience the magical world of orcas at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. Learn more at dmns.org.
You are listening to the Dollop, an American History podcast. Each week, I, Dave Anthony, read a story to my friend Gareth Reynolds,
Jeez. Who has no real idea what this topic is about.
God, you want to hit a dude?
I'll do one bottle.
People say this is funny?
Not Gary Gareth.
Dave, okay.
Someone or something is tickling people.
Is it for fun?
And this is not going to become the Tickling Podcast.
Okay.
You are Queen Fakey of Made Up Town.
All hail Queen Shit of Liesville.
A bunch of religious virgins go to mingle
And do what?
pray.
Hi, Gary.
No.
Nicely done, my friend.
No.
Sometime in the 1860s in San Francisco. Well, first, let's just say that San Francisco, along with most other cities in the United States at the time, had a problem with wild dogs.
Well, I think that's a fair thing to say first.
In Los Angeles in the 1840s, dogs outnumber people by nearly 2-1. I don't know what that was like.
That's crazy.
2-1 dogs.
2-to-1 dog ratio.
And while the situation in San Francisco...
It's like a Pixar movie.
You know, it's terrible. Yeah. No, I don't think it was anything near that cute and fun. These are wild dogs.
I think I could put a fun little spin on it, give
wild fucking dogs eating people.
Eating people?
I think so.
People could defend themselves against dogs.
The situation in San Francisco had not reached the extreme of 2-1. The large numbers of strays and feral dogs did cause problems. Yeah, they're not pets. I mean, some are pets, but most of these are fucking wild animals running around.
Still, I think with the right weaponry, I could defend myself against 2 dogs per me.
Dogs were regularly poisoned.
Not that I want to turn this into a dog war.
All right, look, we believe.
I love animals.
Everybody listening believes that you could handle yourself against 2 dogs.
Bring on these fucking dogs.
Dogs were regularly poisoned or trapped and killed. Nevertheless, if a dog turned out to be a good ratter or distinguish itself in some other way, it was still possible for it to survive.
Just really took me right back to the Dollop, where people would just have rat shows, basically.
Well, yeah. Bummer was a black and white Newfoundland who had established himself outside the saloon of Frederick Martin in 1860 and quickly proved to be an exceptional rat killer. His ratting talent spared him the fate of the previous dog who had lived on the territory, Bruno, who had been poisoned with strychnine.
Oh, God. Terrible.
You're not doing a good job, Bruno. You're fired. What
Here,
does that
have
mean?
this bowl of food.
That means you're dead. Described as, quote, bull in his fighting quarters and Newfoundland in his vital parts, he wandered up
Excuse me?
Yeah. I think that they just said that
penis?
he was like a bull in his fighting quarters, and then in the other parts, like his balls and
his penis and balls.
I mean, if that's what we consider vital parts, but maybe also they mean heart.
Okay,
but probably penis and balls.
It feels like they.
Yeah, it feels dirty.
You got to see this dog's dick.
This
dog's got a beautiful penis.
Now it's like what's her name? An Eliza Schlesinger comedy special. He wandered up and down the east side of Montgomery Street, the town's main stem, begging food from restaurants and bars, which is what
sounds like a dog.
Which is what earned him the nickname Bummer.
Okay, because he always wanted to bum. But were the other dogs just not hip to the idea that they should beg for shit?
I don't know if they knew.
Because I think dogs in this day and age, pretty much all they do is go like, "Can I? Can I have
May
that?
I have
Can I
some
have
food?"
that?"
The young city was filled with stray dogs, and Bummer would probably have been destined for obscurity had an event not occurred that made him the talk of the town.
Here we go.
On January 18th, 1861, the Alta California reported 3 or 4 days ago, a poor, lean, mangy cur was attacked in the street by a larger dog and was getting unmercifully walloped. When Bummer's ire being aroused at the unequal contest, he rushed in and gave the attacking canine such a rough handling that he was glad to quit the field.
I like it. I like this.
Yep. The poor cur had one of its legs half bitten through, and having limped upon the sidewalk, he proceeded to scrape an acquaintance with his deliverer, Bummer, who thenceforth took him under his special protection. Every night since then, the two dogs have slept coiled up together close to some doorway, Bummer always giving the lame cur the inside booth and trying to keep him as warm as possible.
Oh,
That's nice.
that's very nice.
That's how a couple of friends met. This is like the beginning of Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid.
Sure. Hopefully
But they're dogs.
Yeah, okay.
This dog was badly injured and was not expected to live. Bummer coaxed him to eat, brought back scraps from his scavenging missions, and huddled next to him to keep him warm during the night. The injured dog quickly recovered and within days was following Bummer as he made his begging rounds in the streets. His remarkable recovery earned him the name Lazarus.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All right.
And he
Bummer
proved,
and Laz.
Yeah, and he proved to be even more prodigious ratter than Bummer. The San Francisco Bulletin of October 3rd, 1863 reported, "The town rings today with stories of their prowess in this line, claiming that they had killed 400 rats when a fruit market was overhauled."
Can you imagine, like, being a reporter, being like, wait, what's this story that I got to cover?
You're going to talk about dogs killing rats today, Johnny.
Okay, because,
They're tearing up a fruit market. It's going to be rats galore. Get down there with those dogs.
the people love this dog storyline.
Tell us what they do.
Yeah. And then be a reader, like, oh, that's a fascinating story about...
Here, all, get your paper today. 400 rats killed down at the fruit market.
I'll take one of those. My God, what a fascinating article.
Holy dog. They disposed of 85 rats in 20 minutes at another business.
Whoa.
That's a lot of rats. In 20
report,
minutes?
yeah.
Also, your business is terrible. Not a restaurant, the paper reassured.
85.
That's...
What,
So-
3? What is that? That's like 3 a minute, right?
Well, or 4.
4 a round. 4.
It's like 3.
Yeah, it is like 3.
And then it's 4, a little over 4.
It's like 4 more than it's like 3 if you think about it.
So below were Bummer and Lazarus that the Board of Supervisors exempted them from a stray dog ordinance that allowed
The board
all...
of supervisors?
Yeah. These guys are
This is
fucking
really like
superstars.
heavy into the culture.
These are superstars. They exempted
It's
them...
just a pleasure to meet you. May I shake your paw?
They exempted them from a stray dog ordinance that allowed all unclaimed dogs to be executed. It's a heavy word.
Yeah.
According to the Alta, as the supervisors were deliberating, the two dogs lay crouched at the doorway, apparently eager to hear what was being said and done for their benefit. Now, I don't believe that at all.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely
I
a
think
little
I would guess-
liberty taken there.
Yeah, I would guess someone brought the dogs down.
Now pretend you're listening.
While the noble-hearted Bummer was the subject of unalloyed love and admiration, Lazarus possessed a more vacillating and selfish character. Neither dog was a beauty prize winner. Lazarus, who some claimed was the oldest dog in town, was described as a scrawny, insignificant mutt of yellowish-black color, a cross between a cur and a hound with a dash of the terrier that was not developed until he went into partnership with Bummer. But their friendship touched the hearts of everyone who saw them. Look at those two dogs together. That's marvelous.
That's Lazarus, the oldest dog in town. We've done our homework.
Their ratting talent and unique bond was seized upon by the city's press. Here's where you'll start to understand what's happening. Martin's Saloon was a favorite haunt of newspapermen and journalists. So with the dogs a fixture outside the bar, they never had to travel far for a story.
So it's just lazy reporting.
It's just the shitty drunken reporters who didn't want to go anywhere, and they'd be like, Bummer's killing my
Weren't you
rats.
supposed to do a story today?
Oh, shit, where's the dogs?
Another story on the dogs?
Yeah, the rat killers and then their buddies.
Yeah, but you've already wrote about that.
They're pals.
I think you have a drinking problem.
One is super old.
The editor's like, Jesus, another one about the two dogs?
Kind of selfish.
How many times are you going to write the same article about these two dogs?
It's different. This one, they looked at each other funny.
Yeah, I get it. They like each other. They're two dogs. One of them's really old.
They like red, don't like rats.
Well, yeah, I know they don't like... What the fuck is your problem?
They hang around together.
Where's the money you owe me?
I like their buddies.
Yeah, gee, I know, like their buddies. Done this before.
The exploits of the dogs were recorded in detail in the Californian, the Daily Alta California, the Morning Daily Call, the Daily Evening Bulletin. The editors vying each other in their attempts to endow the pair's adventures with thrills and parallels to the human conditions.
Good God.
The dogs even appeared in a stage burletta titled The Life in San Francisco. A burletta is like a mini, like Italian opera.
But what? How is that possible?
Well, they probably just had them come out. I don't think they actually spoke.
Oh, I don't believe that the
sang.
dogs sang.
But they probably
you've heard the expression, it's not over till the hairy dog sings.
Well, okay, so they made a burletta about San Francisco, and then they're like, we gotta have the dogs in it. So at one point, the dogs.
Oh my God, that's Lazarus and Bummer.
Oh, there they are. They really like each other, and they hate rats.
Wait a minute, Lazarus is singing.
Bummer was portrayed as the gentleman, down on his luck, yet still faithful and conscientious, while Lazarus, the mongrel, was cast in the role of the sly and self-serving, fair-weathered friend. When Bummer was shot in the leg after only a couple of months, and Lazarus left him to run with another dog, it suited the press no end.
Because
Bummer got shot.
A controversy.
Bummer took Lazarus under his wing and healed him and helped him and fed him. Then when Bummer got shot, why is Bummer getting shot?
Dave, fair question right off the bat. Why is Bummer getting shot? But also, what's happening with the reporters?
Well, now they're just giving these dogs like...
They're like the Kardashians. Like who... Like... Man, just when I thought this plot couldn't thicken anymore, Lazarus goes and leaves Bummer.
There's a lot of backstory with these dogs. A lot of backstory. Bummer was said to be feeling the sting of ingratitude at the desertion of Lazarus.
But based on a human's eyeball?
You
like
could see that he was upset.
Not because he was shot. He missed his friend.
Lazarus
Live from outside of the bar.
Lazarus's return when Bummer recovered only added to the excitement.
Oh my God, a reunion episode.
They're back together.
Oh my God.
Burletta 2. The two dogs had the run of the streets, and when, on June 14th, 1862, Lazarus was taken by a new dog catcher, a mob of angry citizens demanded his release, petitioning to have the pair declared city property so they could wander the streets unmolested.
Wow.
City supervisors released Lazarus and declared he and Bummer were exempt from the city ordinance.
Jesus.
A week later, the two were reported to have stopped a runaway horse.
Sure.
That's just a weird sentence to throw in there.
Yeah. They stopped a runaway horse. Whatever. Bummer and Lazarus back together again.
Despite their reputations, the two could be vicious. Bummer was a sheep killer and regularly fought other dogs in the street, occasionally assisted by Lazarus. Although normally Lazarus would restrict himself to barking encouragement. They also ransacked shops.
I'd definitely be the Lazarus of the dogs. Yeah, fuck that dog up. It's chill.
They also ransacked shops when they had entered unnoticed and been locked in by the owners. So they're dogs. So
yeah, they're
despite
dogs.
all of the attempts to paint them as people,
they're actually dogs.
With like the Odd Couple, they're actually just dogs.
And who do you respond more to? Who do you think you are? More of a Lazarus or a Bummer?
I think I'm more of a Bummer.
And I'm more of a Lazarus. That's why we hang out. We're totally Bummer and Lazarus.
I can't believe Bummer got into a fight today and then got locked in a meat shop.
It's crazy. I'm starting to think he might be a dog.
Bummer and Lazarus were even left complimentary tickets for every theatrical performance that opened in San
Hey,
Francisco
Dave,
from
I gotta go.
1855
I gotta go.
to 1880.
It took from when to when?
In 1855 to 1880, in the
So
first row
for-
of the balcony. Well, that seems like I might have mispronounced something, but that's a long
How?
time.
Yeah. What did these? They found the fountain of dog youth.
I had to have made a mistake.
For 25 years, we left tickets for these dogs.
Well, they couldn't be because one's going to die soon. It must have been 1860.
Well, thanks for the foreshadowing.
It was a
Debbie Downer.
custom. Well, it was the next sentence. It was a
Let
custom.
me guess, one of them dies.
It was a custom that held until that tragic day when the beloved mongrel Lazarus died. He was killed in October 1863. Accounts say he was poisoned by being given meat laced with rat bane after biting a boy. The San Franciscans put up a $50 reward for the capture of the poisoner.
Wow.
Some wanted Lazarus to be buried in a place of honor alongside other great men of the city.
Others wanted to be normal humans. Others wanted priorities checked.
Notable San Franciscans formed a procession, and Bummer looked on mournfully. This led to a rumor that large numbers of San Franciscans turned out for Lazarus's funeral, but the dog was not buried. He was actually stuffed by a taxidermist.
And we all know how
displayed-
good taxidermy was back then.
and displayed behind the bar in Martin's saloon. It was reported that Martin paid the taxidermist $50 to turn the dog over, even though its remains had already been claimed by the city council.
Ugh.
The Daily Evening
The
Bulletin.
city council.
Yeah, everyone.
Give us the innards.
We'll just have this dead dog here on the table every time we have a meeting.
Yeah, there we go.
You want to say it to me? You say it to Lazarus and me.
I'd rather not say it at all.
Okay, then. We are adjourned.
Thank fucking God.
Lazarus does not like you, sir.
Yeah, well, he's a stuffed fucking dog.
Excuse me.
I'm out of here. That's my wife.
The Daily Evening Bulletin featured a long obituary entitled Lament for Lazarus, in which they praised the virtues of both dogs and recounted their various adventures together.
Sure.
In 1950s, Samuel Dixon's book, San Francisco Kaleidoscope, offered a different version of the death of Lazarus.
Ooh.
In October of 1863, a fire ravaged in the city. Through the streets came roaring the brave men of the volunteer fire companies, the St. Francis Hook and Ladder, the Columbia 11, the Knickerbocker 5, and the Washington Hose. One of the trucks ran over and killed Lazarus. It was not known which truck it was, although each company sorrowfully claimed credit. Bummer continued alone. Although Mark Twain reported a year later in the Daily Morning Call that he had taken a small black puppy under his wing.
A new intern. Sure.
Nothing more was heard of the puppy, and without his companion, Lazarus, Bummer was less of an interest to the press.
Of course. Well, I mean, look, they were a duo. The press knew that going into it.
It's hard to come down. You have your show on the air, and
Yeah.
then your
You're
show
top
goes
of the world.
away.
Yeah. Next thing you know, there's a new Bummer, a new Lazarus.
Yeah, where's Maury Povich now?
Thank you. Thank you.
It was said the grieving Bummer rarely left the area where Lazarus died. His final 2 years after the death of his friend were sad ones. In 1865, a drunk, Henry Rippey,
I swear to God, for a minute, I thought that you were about to suggest that the dog had a drinking problem.
Oh, he might have. He was sad.
Give me another one.
It's like another scotch. Oh, Lazarus.
I've hit rock bottom.
I miss my little yellow and black
This
friend.
black lab ain't shit. Nothing against you.
Did I tell you about the time we stopped the runaway horse?
You just... yeah, you actually told about 15 minutes ago.
We killed some sheep together.
Okay.
I found him in the road.
Do you have any money?
Fight with another
Okay.
dog.
All right. Okay.
And I took him over the
Okay. I'm gonna
sidewalk.
take. Do you want some water? Water might do.
In 1865, a drunk, Henry Rippey, kicked him down a staircase on Montgomery Street. Bummer died 2 months later.
Aw.
That's a long time to be from kicked to died.
I mean,
Bummer was still popular enough that, to avoid violence by a vigilance committee, the city immediately arrested Rippy.
Wow, that is great, though. I wish they did that now.
Okay, so just to sum up, a bunch of guys are going to kill the drunk because he kicked the dog.
Listen.
That died 2 months later. Probably not from the kick, because it was 2 months later.
I hate to say that I'm on the side of the vigilantes.
Fair.
But I'm on the side of the vigilantes.
Fair.
I would. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm really emotional right now.
Yeah, are you okay?
But Rippy did not completely escape street justice, as upon learning of his crime, Rippy's cellmate, a vendor named David Popley,
Oh, boy.
popped Rippy in the smeller. Quote, popped Rippy in the smeller.
Well, I might need some clarity. Because,
Smeller's a nose. Or a foot.
Okay. Because I just want you to know that could go to a darker place.
Bummer's passing did not make the headlines in the same way that Lazarus' death had, but cartoonist Jump created a new cartoon showing him lying in a state while Lazarus tucked into a table of food in the ether above him.
And the morons rejoiced with closure.
And rats paid their respects.
Oh, God.
Rats, the things that they had killed.
Yeah, but you know how
They're
are.
fucking the slot. It would be like, that's like the Jews sitting around paying their respects to Hitler.
But to be fair, this is a cartoon.
True.
Yeah, so it didn't happen. These goddamn Jews.
A young reporter named Mark Twain produced a snide eulogy for Bummer in the Virginia City Enterprise, which was reprinted in the Californian on the 11th of November, 1865. The old vagrant Bummer is really dead at last, although he was always more respected than his ubiquitous vassal, the dog Lazarus. His exit has not made half as much stir in the newspaper world as signalized the departure of the latter. I think it is because he died a natural death. Died with friends around him to soothe his pillow and wipe the death damps from his brow and receive his last words of love and resignation. Because he died full of years and honor and disease and fleas. He was permitted to die a natural death, as I have said, but poor Lazarus died with his boots on, which is to say he lost his life by violence. He gave up the ghost mysteriously at dead of night, with none to cheer his last moments or soothe his dying pains. So the murdered dog was canonized in the newspapers, his shortcomings excused, and his virtues heralded to the world, but his superior parting with his life in the fullness of time, and in the due course of nature, sinks as quietly as might the mangiest cur among us. Well, let him go. In the earlier days he was courted and caressed, but latterly he has lost his comeliness. His dignity had given place to a want of self-respect, which allowed him to practice mean deceptions to regain a moment that sympathy and notice which had become necessary to his very existence. And it was evident to all that the dog had had his day. His great popularity was gone forever. In fact, Bummer should have died sooner. There was a time when his death would have left a lasting legacy of fame to his name. Now, however, he will be forgotten in a few days. Bummer's skin is to be stuffed and placed with that of Lazarus.
I agree with that finish.
Yeah, so Mark Twain just basically said, you're a bunch of fucking idiots.
Yeah, but in a great,
eloquent,
great
funny
fashion. Yeah.
Well, he was a good writer.
Turns out, what else did he do after
I believe he
Bummer
got
eulogy?
Everybody idiots.
Did he work again?
This was the same year he wrote the frog. I can't remember the name of the place. Calaveras bullfrog competition.
That
was the thing that was like his Star Wars.
Right. So he was just kind of in the bullpen warming up with this material.
Yeah, he was about to write that, and he was about to just blow out and become huge.
I'm glad. Yeah, imagine if this was that. That'd be amazing.
This is like Duel.
Yeah,
this is like the movie Duel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bummer was also mounted by the taxidermist and placed on display.
Good.
In 1906, both specimens were donated to the Golden Gate Park Museum, now the A.M.H. DeYoung Memorial Museum. where they remained in storage until they were destroyed in
What?
1910. I
Who
know,
made that
right?
call?
Why the fuck would you...
Well, who?
Like, just for history's sake.
Give them out.
Yeah, give them out.
Give them out.
March 28th, 1992, a brass plaque commemorating the two dogs was placed at Transamerica Redwood Park, a small park adjacent to the base of the Transamerica Pyramid, which I was going to go to, but I was too tired because I was staying at a block away.
Oh, really?
When I wrote this.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus. That would have been great.
I wanted to take a picture of it.
Do a little field reporting?
I was so fucking tired.
Well, we get it. You work a lot, Dave. Jesus.
Oh, bummer and Lazarus.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It is a shame.
It's a shame they're gone.
It is a great dog story, but all dogs die.
And
Some
they go to
die-
heaven.
Some die violently.
And they all go to heaven, right?
Yep.
Isn't
all
that the
dogs
deal?
Go to heaven.
I knew it. I like that. That was fun.
That was the fun one.
That was fun.
The last one was a little tough, the Chinese wars.
Well, it feels nice, yeah. If only you could imagine those dogs and a tong, you know? A bummer tong.
A bummer tong.
A Lazarus tong.
All right, this is over.
Wait.
The helicopters are here.
Okay, now it's time.
Nighty-night.
Bye.
Oh, yes, it's Gareth. Not Gary, stop it. Gare Force, listen, I've got a bunch of stand-up shows coming up, and I want to see you there. We can hug. I will be at Rooster Teeth Feathers in Sunnyvale, California, April 18th, 19th, and 20th. Then I will be in Chattanooga, Tennessee, June 18th. I will be at Nashville at Zanies, June 19th. I will be in Huntsville, Alabama, June 20th. I'll be in Atlanta, Georgia, June 21st, June 22nd. Then I will be in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, June 26th. Then I'll be in East Providence, Rhode Island, June 27th. Then I'll be in Boston, Massachusetts, and Boston, June 28th. That's 2 shows. I will be in Springfield, Massachusetts, June 29th, Rochester, New York, June 30th, and then July 5th through the 6th. Canada, I've heard your prayers, and I will answer them. I will be in Toronto. So come join me at the Comedy Bar. Go to GarethReynolds.com for tickets and information. That's right, Gareth Force. We're calling you up. It's the big time. The big leagues. This went poorly.
Have you met the family that owns Paramount Siding and Windows? Plan ahead and call today. This spring, when everyone else is frantically calling for a contractor, you'll be relaxing to the quality work of Paramount Siding and Windows. Paramount invites you to their beautiful showroom to see your future siding and windows in person. Beat the spring rush. Call today. 303-482-5656. That's 303-482-5656. Or online at ParamountSidingandWindows.com. Quality in everything they do.